won't. You're.
I will be.
Hi guys. Hello. Oh. Hello. Are you in TikTok jail? I am in TikTok jail, but I'm going to go live on my backup account. So it's not quite that much of a TikTok jail. Oh, 240k euros on Radam raised by 8 p.m. tonight. That's awesome. So Lithuania has these Radam Fundraisers for Ukraine. And Lithuania is a population of 2.7 or 2.9 million people. TASS is from Lithuania, and they raise like an incredible amount of money for Ukraine, which is wild.
No mask.
Yeah, no mask. It's a face reveal, you know? If you go on... I'm not going to do that. You know, you can... There's a lot.
You gotta dox me.
There is a lot you can reveal about this man if you just search online, you know? You can literally find out what his genitalia looks like. Who dat? Oh, wait. Let me... It's the same, you know, sir, as yesterday, but just without a mask.
If they want, I can go for the mask on. It might be an improvement.
I don't know. Hi, Carolyn. Hi, Joe. Hi, Juju. Also, hi, everyone. I will attempt to do the news tonight. I do have like a hard cutoff at 10 because my train is at midnight and I'm going to Kyiv. So I'll have to do that. So what I thought we could do is I could read some news. You could ask him some questions. He will respond. The masked singer is revealed. Hi, Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah, as I was saying, you know, Jason, someone said face reveal, and I was like, oh, you can reveal a lot about this dude if you just do a random search online, you know, more things than you would want to know. More things than most people would want to know. Oh my gosh, show me.
What's in my hair?
I don't know. Oh, it's a lamb behind you.
Oh, okay.
I look ridiculous. I look like an old school mother.
That's a good photo.
But so.
Which way? Where?
Sorry, this is camera. This camera, but you have.
Where is it?
No.
It's all.
Okay.
It's all blurry.
This is why YouTubers do this.
Oh damn.
Mhm. See, because it then focuses on the oh here. It looks weird. So wait, I'm getting to where the news is starting today, but I was thinking you guys can ask him questions and he can answer them. Hi, Lauren, and Praxis, not Pixel.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so
Misread it.
all right, you know what? I will. Oh, hi, do not panic. You know, I will tell you a funny little story. So, because on a certain Russian doxing website, this man exists, and he not only exists just with his face. Someone had literally posted a picture of him naked on there, and the Russians, before posting it, hi Vasil, they blurred like his genitalia with like pixels. Okay, so my dad, it was a cold day. So my dad literally will not be able to like remember a foreign name for the life of him unless it's like John or James or something super easy, right? Can't remember his name. His call sign, not at all. So my dad has deemed him Pixel, and he now calls me and goes like, "Oh, so how's Pixel? Did he go to the front?" Jason is doxing you. I don't need to.
Jason, why are you doxing me? Putting my identity out there, man.
I mean, hey, listen. If you go on, on this particular Russian Telegram channel that doxes foreigners in Ukraine, you will find him anyway. You will find a lot more of him than anyone wants to find. Well, maybe someone does. Anyways, this is a late night show with Yulia shitting on foreign volunteers in Ukraine.
I'm regretting my decisions.
Package wanted to know who he was. Wow, Yulia. Wow, listen. It is what it is. So what I thought is I'll read the news. I'll read the news and you will hear flirting. So Vasil is the kid who lives with me.
Who?
Vasil is the kid who lives with me in New York.
Oh, wait, the one who was excited when he saw the picture?
No, that's
Okay,
Robbie.
different one.
No, Vasil. Anyways, I think I told you, but I also talk a lot, so I don't think you remember. But anyways,
Definitely talk a lot.
he's a little shit. You know what? He's a tiny little shit. I love him, but he's a little shit.
Mhm.
Wait for him to like hear that and write something. He's a mean little thing. He like literally. So he's what? He's like turning 20, I think, and he got to New York when he was 18, right? And so I would say something about him being a teenager, and he's like, "I'm not a teenager."
Oh,
And then
this is the Ukrainian who's
yeah. And then he
Yeah.
comes up to me, and he's like, "Oh, you don't understand because we're just a different generation." Like as if I'm like some old ass person. Oh, so well, turned 20. Sorry, child. Not turning. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're not a teenager anymore. I'm so sorry.
Whatever you say, Bubbles, yeah.
Anyways, Robbie didn't come to Ukraine with you? Not yet. Is it an Australian accent I detect? Or nor. Дякую, thank you. So I thought I would be reading the news and he would be reacting to it. You can also ask him questions. Yesterday we did like a live and a lot of people asked him a lot of questions, but he also was like fashionably late to the live for like freaking, I don't know, 30 minutes. Haven't heard him referred to as the package in a long time. I know, right?
Who's the package?
So when he was coming to New York, we basically, with the entire community, like I made an Amazon wish list to set up a room because he thought he would be living on my couch, but I had a room. And so everyone helped me furnish it by buying things from the...
So they call him package, okay.
Yeah, and no, but so he would come to my lives and we didn't want him to find out what we were doing. So we were calling him package. Like, oh, did the package arrive, you know? Oh my gosh, wait, let me call my dad because he's not going... Where is it? Oh yeah, where is Old Zealand if it's New Zealand?
I think it's somewhere in the United Kingdom.
Is it?
It makes sense. Everything
Zealand?
else is like
Yeah.
New York. York is in the United Kingdom.
Так, привіт. Я вдома, я роблю ефір, і потім в мене потяг. 12. 12. Це знайомий мами. Знайомий мами. Та я думаю, що все окей, але дякую. А так я ж сьогодні їду. А який торт? Ужгородський. Ні, ну звучить, звісно, дуже класно, але я просто не встигну його з'їсти. Хіба якщо ти його пікселю віддаш? Він ж тут буде. Ну, але я його вже сьогодні не з'їм. На ніч ні. Але дякую. Добре, давай. Добре, па-па. Zealand is in Denmark. Old Zealand is Holland, I think. See? Yeah, you didn't even know that. And you were like, neighbors.
I don't care about the Kiwis.
Me.
Oi, come here.
Cake. There is cake. Yes, there is cake from Uzhhorod, but I'm not taking it because I'm not going to eat the cake at nighttime. Hi, Gord. And hi, Michael. And hi, John. And hi, K-Bell. Okay, I think we can like just someone messing with New Zealand. Sandra is from New Zealand. Yes, he is. He is messing with New Zealand. He said he doesn't care for New Zealand and he's Aussie. Oh, Sandra will F you up. Sandra will F you up.
That's fine. I'll try.
Anyways, so first of all, people in Ukraine are super mad at the Associated Press, and so am I.
What? Just sitting.
So am I, to be honest, because like Associated Press posted an article today where they said, so it was a very catchy, sort of like loud, sensationalist headline. And the headline said, Russian transport plane taken down with Ukrainian prisoners of war aboard. And then when you read the article in fine print, it says, oh, actually, we have no way of verifying the information about Ukrainian prisoners of war. It's just the Russian MOD said so, which like who the listens to the Russian MOD? And in reality, it was likely that no one was on board there. So the Ukrainian MOD denies it. And it's likely that there were no Ukrainian prisoners of war on board that taken down aircraft. Yet the people are not going to remember that. They're going to remember the loud headline. And I think that Russia did that in order to basically, they probably killed a bunch of prisoners of war, and they probably tortured them to the point where they were never going to return them, right? And so they likely said that there were many prisoners of war on board that aircraft because they wanted to cover up their deaths. So no, the Russian, it wasn't MOD. Apparently, it was a blogger. So I've seen versions, obviously, of bloggers saying it, but the Russian MOD did comment on it, and all of the news sources are basically saying that the only sources they can find it on is the Russian MOD and the bloggers, as far as I'm aware from my research. But at the end of the day, no matter who said that, there is absolutely no way of verifying that, and the Ukrainian side is denying it. And the Ukrainian side is denying it, and likely it's just a cover up for having killed many prisoners of war. And I would assume that if they were to say that there were prisoners of war on board, they would say they were from Azov, because they would say they were from Azov because, well, those are the ones that they are refusing to exchange. And I think the reason for that is because they're either in a condition that's just really bad, or because a lot of them are not alive anymore, unfortunately. So for those of you who are just joining, this is an Australian person who serves in the Ukrainian army. He's getting deployed on Saturday or Sunday. He has to be there by Monday. And he has served in Ukraine for a while now, and basically, and so he can answer your questions if you have any. So feel free to ask, and if he feels like he can answer something that isn't OPSEC, he will answer it, and I'll read the news. In the meanwhile, how would the Ukrainian side know? They have lists of people, and they do track Russia's aircraft and stuff like that. So, okay, the United States does not have any credible evidence of misuse, illegal transfer to third parties of American weapons provided to Ukraine, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said in his opening speech at the opening of the online meeting of the 18th meeting of the contact group on the defense of Ukraine in Rammstein format. I mean, they do this every time. Obviously, we know that there is no evidence of that, and but they have to do it every single time. I mean, I will report on it every single time. However, I do think it's quite ridiculous, because the only times that someone had insinuated that Ukraine has misused the weapons, those were Russians saying that we sell them on the black market. And there are way too many groups that are here to literally foresee the weapons going to the right places on the ground, and there are way too many commissions created by Western countries to make sure that these weapons are making it where they belong. So there is really very little Ukraine can do to misappropriate or misuse those weapons. Thank you. Okay, President Zelensky met with the head of the largest party of the European Parliament. They talked about the movement of Ukraine in the EU. Had a meeting with the president of the European People's Party, Manfred Weber. The key topics of our conversation are Ukraine's rapprochement with the European Union, work on the European integration path, support and strengthening of Ukraine, the president said. What made you want to support Ukraine?
Said something as last night.
Well, I mean, I guess last night people were asking what made you join the military in Ukraine, and now people are asking what made you support Ukraine.
It was a mix of it. Like a lot of people, I thought the war was going to be over very, very quickly. I thought Ukrainians were going to, kind of sit down and be walked over, and that didn't happen. And then I was watching, from my safe space in Australia, from the Ukrainians fighting back in Kiev and then pushing back, and that's when I wanted to come over. Mixed with the fact that never got to see any deployments in the Australian army and whatnot. So it's yeah, I guess double answer on it.
Ukrainians
If
need
I knew you were here, I probably wouldn't have. But oh well.
Does he see the equipment used by Russia as older?
Not necessarily. It's most of the vehicles I saw were, like 70s, 80s, 90s, like BMPs, BTRs, and whatnot. So not up to date things necessarily, but a lot of mortars, which doesn't really matter when they're from, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And kamikaze drones are relatively decent. I think the Russians are definitely getting the advantage in drone warfare, from what I've been hearing and seeing. So, not necessarily. I think they've got some old equipment, and they've got some of their new stuff. They've got some of their old stuff. Just like Ukrainians get some of the Western 30-year-old equipment, and
yeah,
they also get things like HIMARS and everything else. So
yeah, but I guess like Russians only get like Soviet-made equipment, right? Well, and North Korea now and Iran.
yeah, they still get some like the modern Russian weapons. So it depends.
Yeah.
They
Well, modern Russian weapons. Yeah, well, Russia is pumping out a lot of weapons, but it's been said that like the production quality is really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
Not on all of them, but on a lot of them. A lot of them misfire. A lot of them are just not like up to par. Also, please don't forget that. That's from your drone.
I don't need it.
What is that?
It's a keychain.
Oh.
So it's really nothing important.
Oh, it's just a keychain.
Yeah.
Cute. Okay. So he served in Australia. Yes, he did. He did serve in Australia.
I was in the Australian Army, yes.
Mm-hmm. So yesterday someone was asking me what the heck is a doomsday clock. So it's basically this like symbolic thing that is that's supposed to show that the world is regressing so much that we're very close to doomsday. And so like midnight is doomsday, right? And so the doomsday clock is still not moving this year, but that does not mean that humanity will survive the symbolic countdown to the extinction of the planet, 90 seconds left until midnight. So it's like with all the, so basically it's supposed to like move closer and closer to midnight as we are more and more screwed. But so basically it's at 90 seconds because the nuclear scientist bulletin cites the ongoing violence in Ukraine, the horrors of war in Israel and Gaza, and the lack of action on climate crisis that threatens billions of lives. So someone was asking yesterday what it was, and I didn't realize why you were asking that. But I guess doomsday clock has been now more has been brought up more because of everything that's going on in the world. So yeah. So the trophy Russian BBM Tiger and armored vehicle 82A is now in service with the armed forces of Ukraine after they have restored it.
Fair enough.
Do you have to say anything about those vehicles? Also, thank you from all of us back home. Kate Bell is Australian.
Oh, cheers.
There are a lot of Australians here, which is like nice.
I'm on their accent for the last couple of days then.
Okay. No. I will tell them. It's fine. So okay, he thinks that he says, "Oh no."
Oh no.
No, okay, but when you try to say "oh no," when you're consciously saying it, it's like "oh no." But when you actually say "oh no," you say "oh no," and then you also say "sir," and that's so. And so I just find it adorable, so I make fun of it. Is it difficult being in the front line and not being able to speak Ukrainian?
It depends. Where I've been with the front line, I've been with English-speaking units, and when I've come across Ukrainians, I've understood enough Ukrainian to kind of give basic instruction and have basic conversation. So in that regard, no. But I wouldn't want to be in an all Ukrainian-speaking unit.
Yeah, so his accent is very Aussie.
I have a very mild accent, to be honest.
Can you get Australian meals during duties?
Can I make Australian food?
I don't know.
I don't even know if we have Australian food because we don't have much. We've got
what is Australian food?
I don't know, steaks and sausages. We don't like Americans. Americans don't have their food.
He showed up after yesterday. Bangers and mash, yeah.
Yeah, Sausages and mashed potato.
Someone was seeing Cable is Australian and she's like, what is Australian food?
They said the same thing.
Kangaroo soup.
You've never had kangaroo.
Koalas.
Shrimp on the barbie, no.
Do you eat koalas?
Hmm?
Do you eat koalas?
No, I've got too much chlamydia. Kind of like you.
Emu eggs. And shark meat.
You're just ignoring that one, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shark meat, because you're an ass. Shark meat. Ouch. That's okay. That's okay. That's fine. I mean, technically, like, you know what? I deserve him being an ass right now because I've been so mean to him today that, you know, I really need to.
Yeah, we do respect the emus after the ceasefire we made with them.
The emus? What?
Australia lost the war to emus. Have you not heard about this?
No.
We call it the Great Emu War.
No.
Yeah, the Australian government sent a bunch of Australian soldiers into like the desert to kill emus because they were overpopulated and we lost.
Really?
Yeah. I think we killed like 2 of them and lost a machine gun.
Really?
Something like that.
And like, and wait, and you like, and you think you have an army, and you think you're like qualified?
Yeah.
You couldn't win from birds that can't even fly?
Luckily, the Russians aren't sending birds at us yet. If they do, I'm fucked and I'm leaving. Also, I'm
40,000 emus counterattack.
Yeah. If the Russians ever start sending birds at the lines, I'm leaving. I'm getting out of this country.
Oh yeah.
For now, I'm all right.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure the emus would. Yeah, the emus would be difficult. Marmite. I don't want to try Marmite. The way that he has described it, and you guys have described it on the previous live, sounds awful.
It's just yeast extract. It's not terrible.
Yeast extract does not sound good.
Yeah, give it a try.
Like you use yeast in cakes to like make them puffier.
Yeah.
Vegemite, Marmite. Vegemite sucks. Can Australia send some emus? Ukraine's wait. Why are you not sending emus?
We can't catch them. They already beat us in one war. They won their independence. What do you want from us?
Why can't you just send some emus? You have an overpopulation of emus.
They're pro-Russian.
Emus are pro-Russian.
Yeah.
That's upsetting. The emus are vicious. Ukraine has emus. We don't have emus. Do you see moral support from Australian government while you're staying in Ukraine?
No. I got interrogated for 7 hours when I returned last time and they stole my phone. I'm probably on a couple of watch lists because of it. No, definitely not. I'm pretty sure if I ever want to rejoin the Australian Army, I can't because my security clearance would be stuffed.
Okay. Do you seriously think that there is a war in Kyiv? Are you joking? Please, I hope you're not serious. Go there and you will see that there is normal life in the city. Absolutely normal life. This is how the pro-Russian Prime Minister of Slovakia, Fico, answered a question from journalists if he would like to go to Kyiv to better understand what is happening in Ukraine. Even though life in Kyiv, according to Fico, is normal, he still did not want to go to the capital to meet his Ukrainian colleague Shmyhal, noting that it was more practical to meet in Uzhhorod. Aw, why? Because there would be no airstrikes in Uzhhorod, but there are airstrikes in Kyiv all the time, and Fico is scared that something would happen to him. Yeah.
It's on the border, isn't it?
Yeah. The meeting between Shmyhal and Fico is scheduled for Wednesday, January 24th in Uzhhorod. It's funny when people say, like, oh, there is completely normal life in Kyiv, because, like, no, there isn't. You wake up from like air alarms all the time. And while like air alarms in Lviv are less concerning because like, first of all, we have way more time to prepare for them. Second of all, like stuff rarely reaches here or they rarely send it here. But when they do, it usually causes damage. But in Kyiv, it's like ongoing. It's all the time. And even if they do take down all the missiles that were shot at Kyiv, the debris falls and it ruins buildings and it causes fires and it causes death. So it's not like safe and secure. Obviously, like air defense prevents the damage that could have happened, you know, the much larger damage. But like when you shoot down a missile, the missile itself still falls somewhere, right? So it still destroys like buildings and it still destroys roofs in people's apartments and like playgrounds and stuff like that. And it injures people. So it's not all, good and jolly over there. It is quite scary. So yeah, I'm like talking about airstrikes here while this man literally was like on an Avdiivka front line and like under artillery shelling, and I'm just like, oh no, there could be debris falling far away. I always feel like really bad complaining about airstrikes in front of like active duty military because I'm just
honestly, I feel it. You live a hard life. I feel when I'm being bombed on the front line, all I'm thinking is, I hope youre is safe from possible debris.
So I don't know who youre is. I've never met a youre. Are you going to stay in Ukraine after victory?
Yes.
No. One of them went in there. You're supposed to be in dog duty. You're in dog duty
until you leave on the train.
Do you have a?
It's you. Get out of here.
Do you have?
The way.
No, she doesn't do anything there usually. Do you have a specialized?
That's a good one.
Do you have? Yes. Do you have a specialization? He can't remember the dogs' names. Do you have a specialization?
Well, in Australia, I was in the artillery, but that's not what I wanted to do. Since here, I've been just infantry, and now I'm going into drones. So I've done everything. I've done artillery, I've done infantry, and now I'm doing drones. So, and I've done explosives. So, bit of everything.
So apparently Russians have been having connectivity issues with their super expensive BMWs, and
for Foodie Nature's question, does Army Base have drone detecting system like Patriot system? One, I don't know, and two, even if I did, that would probably be an OPSEC related question because it would relate to defense of a military base. And Sandra, yes, you don't have an accent from anywhere. You've got like the most neutral accent I've ever seen.
Yeah.
How does it feel to have no culture?
Знаєш, як це почувається? Це почувається дуже круто, тому що ти приїжджаєш додому в Україну, і тобто тобі, на жаль, не зрозуміти, бо ти розмовляєш лише одною мовою, англійською, тому що, знаєш, що ж поробиш, не можна ж вивчити декілька.
Я не розумію, українська мова дуже погано.
В тому то й справа, що ти не розумієш, а знаєш, чому ти не розумієш?
Українська мова дуже погано.
You know how it feels? It feels like English is not my native language, yet I speak it better than you do. And then also, I speak another language fluently, it's Ukrainian. And how does it feel to only know one freaking language and only know how to say a couple of things in a language of a country where you live and serve in the military? How does that feel?
I haven't lived here that long.
Yeah, still.
I'm sorry, maybe when the war ends, I'll have time to actually learn the language.
Yeah.
I'm sorry they've got other priorities.
Yeah, but see, how does it feel? How does it feel? Because I don't know how it feels to have a neutral accent.
I speak fluent Ukrainian, see? Even Foodie says I speak fluent Ukrainian. Українська мова дуже гарно.
Дуже гарно.
Це не дуже гарно.
Ай, не дуже гарно.
І не розумно. I just like burnt you in Ukrainian. How does that feel?
He just called me not very good looking.
And smart.
And not very smart. I think we are disowning him from this channel. Anyway, so Russians have been having issues connecting their expensive BMWs to the BMW system. And there have been reports that BMW banned Russia from connecting smartphones to their cars. And it seems to be associated with issues related to the compatibility of Bluetooth versions. BMW owners in Russia have reportedly experienced difficulties in launching CarPlay, a system that facilitates navigation, music, and like whatever. The reported error message, "This device cannot be connected to Bluetooth version is no longer compatible," appears on the dashboard when attempting to sync the car with a smartphone. The problem seems to be triggered when the car detects its location in Russia. According to the reports, one workaround is to turn off the telemetry unit in the car, but this results in the loss of many other functions. In August of the previous year, both Mercedes-Benz and BMW reportedly disconnected Russian dealers from the software used for vehicle maintenance. Yeah, so basically, it's not that like BMW banned banned Russia from using the system. It's just that like they can't update the system, and so oh yeah. So what he's gonna answer your question, Lynn, until in a second. He actually is very passionate about that. But basically, it's not that BMW disconnected it. It's just that like they can't update the software, so the software just doesn't like launch. It's like, you know, when you need to update your iPhone, but like now BMW does not serve Russia anymore, so they can't update it. Okay. How long did you have to train before going to the front line?
I signed contract and I was out about 4 hours later. I signed my contract and within a couple of hours I was in a Humvee on the front line. So, good question.
Okay, but so you're a professional military man, aren't you?
Yeah, sure.
You did say you were you did say you were in the military in Australia. Do you want to like elaborate on that? Do you want to like elaborate?
Yes,
on
I was
that?
in the military back in Australia.
No, yes, but do you want to like elaborate a little more on the training? Where like sometimes there is training, sometimes there isn't training.
With most units, you'll probably get training. I just happened to rock up at it wasn't an International Legion. It was a Ukrainian unit with foreigners in it. And I rocked up to that unit literally the day the Russians started a major offensive. So...
Sir?
Yeah. I came with another Australian. Should I say what happened there? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I rocked up with another Australian. He signed contract the same time with me. We went out on this mission. He died within about 6 hours. So he was in Ukraine for not even a week. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, how often do you get to speak to your family in Australia?
Not whenever I want to at the moment.
Yeah.
And depending where I am, like if I'm not in a trench back on base, a lot of bases have Starlink and something or other.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the trench you won't. So like technically like when they're out on missions, usually they'll be gone for like 3-4 days because they don't have their personal cell phone. They have like their military cell phone, right? Like you'll have your communications phone.
We're not allowed to bring phones out to field. We're not.
Yeah, so you won't. So you won't have like your. Yeah, so you won't have your cell phone. You might have some units have like field phones, right?
Some do, but yeah.
Yeah, but like, anyways, but mostly it's gonna be walkie-talkies, and then your phone is left on base. Oh, do you wanna explain? So like, I actually thought that this was like something pretty obvious, but a lot of people didn't know that, right? It's like the bags that you pack before you go on missions. Hospital bag? Yeah.
It's just a hospital bag. It's so if you get injured and you sent out to hospital, the guys know where your belongings are, what you need in hospital. So you put your phone charger, some spare underwear, things like that in a bag, and then they'll, yeah.
It's basically like so someone doesn't pack your bag for you and doesn't like not bring all the stuff that you need. You'll basically pack a hospital bag before you go on a mission, or like you'll just have one packed, just like sitting there. And if you get injured, that's like what they'll grab and send to the hospital with you. So I thought that was actually like a very interesting bit of information that's like pretty, like I think it's pretty obvious, but also like no one really thinks about it. So I thought it's an interesting thing to like share. No, I haven't yet, Taz. I've been sort of running around. I'm looking for an apartment in Kyiv, and I'm sort of, I've just been a little out of it. Russian media reported that there were 63 people on board of the Il-76, the transport plane, and all of them died. And of course, they're saying that those were Ukrainian POWs. So basically, they're trying to cover up deaths of 63 Ukrainian POWs that they likely tortured to death in camps.
What direction was this plane flying?
I don't know.
And where from? That's what I'd be interested.
I don't know. Do you want to look it up? It's the Russian Il-76 plane.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
IL-22.
Mm-hmm. No, IL-76. Yeah, the one that was taken down. British Defense Minister Grant Shapps emphasized that the year 2024 could be decisive in how the future of Ukraine will develop, and it largely depends on the actions of the Western allies. We have to maintain the momentum, and for that, we need more diplomatic, economic, and military support. We cannot allow Putin to win. It will not only give him confidence and endanger our partners in Eastern Europe, but it will also send a signal to China. There can be no hesitation, no attempts to maneuver in the middle and wait for where the wind will blow, he noted.
Well, surely the Russians are going to provide documents showing that there was this agreement of this prisoner exchange that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Surely that will be released soon, on the year's time.
Yeah, but that's what they were gonna. That's what I think they'll do. They'll just say, "Oh, geolocated footage of the explosion suggested the plane was flying to the north or northwest of the village of Yablanovo Belgorod." So it was flying to Belgorod.
Okay.
Greetings from Houston. Slava Ukraini. Heroyam Slava, how is the puppy? The puppies are good. What's your opinion about Elon Musk? Rumor says he tried to switch off Starlink in Ukraine. I mean, so he did. He basically didn't allow Ukrainians to use Starlink in Crimea or for Crimea to plan those operations. He's also turned off Starlink before during like massive offensives, which like resulted in a lot of problems for Ukrainian military. And Elon Musk is a pro-Russian piece of, he's a Russian mouthpiece, and he doesn't really care about anything other than like trying to make the money that he's lost by being an idiot. Okay, so there's that. North Korea supplies Russia with better shells than the West supplies Ukraine, says Kuleba. The main points from the interview with Bild with the Ukrainian foreign minister. 1. Although Ukraine has significantly increased its production and will continue to do so, the defense industry of the countries that help us is not able to produce enough. North Korea is a more effective partner for Russia than France, who supply Ukraine with artillery and munition. When it comes to making certain decisions, we see how our partners sometimes get bogged down in endless discussions. The best way to ensure the security of Germany and other European countries is to give Ukraine everything it needs to win. We don't need Taurus missiles to attack Moscow. We need them to destroy logistics in the enemy's rear on the territory of Ukraine. That's like the thing. It's like the West has more capability to produce things, but it doesn't have the capability to produce more things of the things that they're giving us. So they just need to start giving us better and more modern weapons. And we've been asking for them for the longest time. And I think that the entirety of the idea of like, oh, this is going to escalate the conflict is ridiculous, because it's not going to escalate the conflict. Russia is the only body here that escalates the conflict. What was your family's reaction when you told them you were going to Ukraine?
Oh, they weren't happy. Both times they weren't happy.
Hmm?
They weren't happy both times.
Mm-hmm. Well, your mom was in the military, right?
Yes. My dad is still in the military.
Hmm. Well, they're supportive now.
Oh yeah, they're supportive now.
Hi, Naomi, if she's there or will be there. The Canadian Minister of Defense announced the provision of 10 Zodiac Hurricane Technologies multi-role boats worth $20 million to Ukraine to assist in maritime operations. The search and rescue operations have been completed on the site of a 5-story building destroyed by a Russian missile in Kharkiv. Yet another one. Today, the bodies of 2 more people and 2 dogs were found, said the rescuers. A total of 10 people were killed in yesterday's Russian attack on Kharkiv. The rubble was removed from the site and emergency constructions were dismantled. 160 tons of construction waste were removed within 2 days with the usage of heavy engineering equipment. Okay, so official main intelligence directorate of Ukraine statement regarding the prisoner exchange. There was supposed to be a prisoner exchange today, but it didn't happen. According to the Russian side, this was a result of the downing of the Russian Il-76 plane, which allegedly carried our prisoners. Currently, we lack reliable and comprehensive information about who exactly was on board of the plane and how many individuals were involved. Ukraine fulfilled all agreements for the exchange preparation. The Russian captured servicemen were delivered on time to the designated exchange point, where they were kept safe. Per the agreement, Russia was to ensure the safety of our defenders. However, Ukraine was not informed about the need to secure the airspace around the city of Belgorod during a specific period, as was done in the past. Details such as the number of vehicles, routes, and forms of prisoner delivery were not disclosed by the Russian side. The use of air transport in a 30-kilometer war zone is inherently unsafe and should be discussed by both sides to avoid jeopardizing the entire exchange process. These circumstances may suggest deliberate actions by Russia to create a threat to the life and safety of prisoners. In light of this, there is a possibility of planned and deliberate actions by the Russian Federation aimed at destabilizing the situation in Ukraine and weakening international support for our state. So if those prisoners were on board of that aircraft, then Russia deliberately decided to kill them because they would know that Ukraine would be shooting down anything that's flying to Belgrade towards Ukraine. If they were not giving Ukraine heads up that these would be prisoners of war. And before that, heads up were given, and no, they weren't. So I mean, we're dealing with Russia, you know, like we can't really expect anything reasonable or humane out of them. Denmark allocated 91 million Danish kroner, or $13.3 million, for projects to support the development of cybersecurity and defense of the armed forces in the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. Copenhagen explains that this is happening under the auspices of the Estonian and Luxembourg-led IT Coalition for Ukraine, which Denmark has joined along with a number of other countries. NATO has announced the commencement of exercise Steadfast Defender 24, marking the largest NATO military exercise since 1988. Planned over several years, this exercise aims to showcase NATO's ability to swiftly deploy forces from North America and various alliance regions to reinforce Europe's defense. So NATO is trying to show Russia what they're capable of. Broke out in Odessa as a result of an attack by a Russian Federation that happened 30 minutes ago. And Russia attacked Odessa with attack drones. According to regional military administration, there is damage to civilian residential infrastructure. Fire started so far. One victim is known. Odessa resident received burns. Doctors are providing all necessary assistance at the site of the events. Hi, UK. Is it true that there are 60,000 Ukrainian children unaccounted for? You mean kidnapped by Russia? They're way more than that. So yeah, Russia has been kidnapping Ukrainian children and bringing them to Russia. So yes, there are many more than just the amount you said there. With that said, that is all I have for you for today. Unfortunately, I do have a hard cut off at 10. So here's what we're gonna do. I need 5 minutes to put all. So why don't you take my seat and maybe answer some questions, and then I'll come back in like 5-10 minutes and wrap up.
Okay.
So you guys have a new.
My name is Julia. I am very annoying.
Oh.
I'm gonna. What can I say to get? Hey, now that she's gone, we can get down to the real business. What do you guys want to know? Now that the boring host has left. Muscular Julia again. I'll take it. Thank you. Sandra, I'm not going to say my name for obvious reasons. You guys can call me Sandberg. That's a call sign. Adcha, what's your prediction for how long the war is going to be? I have a feeling maybe the end of this year, early next year, or it could, if not, then it's probably going to go for a couple of years. How did you two meet? We are friends, ironically, through my mum, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we met through my mum. Fun story.
Well, and through Sam.
Yeah, so through Sam and my mother. How do you cope with the cold? With a lot of warm clothes. And other chat. YouTube. How do you like Ukrainian winters? It's what it is. As long as you have the right clothes, it's not terrible. What kind of food do you eat at the front? Well, it depends if you're in the trenches or if you're on base. if you're in trenches, whatever you bring with you. I haven't seen MREs here. I know some people bring them, but it's what you pack in your own backpack. Whether depends on what you personally choose to bring. I wasn't in Avdiivka, I was near it. It wasn't a very fun time. Someone's asking you to show the description of Radam Fundraiser and what you think about the kits they are raising for.
Can you ask Taz to copy paste the description and you will let him know what you think? Not someone, it's Taz. I know it's Taz.
They're going to do it in Discord.
Okay, Taz, but can you do it here, not Discord? Because he's not going to be able to get on Discord.
Yes, can you do it here, please, Taz? Is there anything you wish civilians understood about the front line? I'm not sure. I don't know. Everyone always hears that it's not good, but no one ever really understands it till they've been there. Whether Bradley's in your area, I've heard about them being in my area. I've never personally seen them. Do you think Ukraine can start next offensive after winter, or is it more reasonable to defend now? I think it would be a terrible idea to be on the offensive. Personally, I think they need to focus on defense. What Chinese-made equipment are you seeing Russia use? I don't think I've seen any Chinese equipment besides possibly the kamikaze drones. Tracker Nazi. I know some people have their families harassed and threatened and things like that. Overall, I think most of us consider them like a bunch of jokers. No one's really that worried about them. I was waiting for 2 years to finally be on there, and then an American who fled Ukraine decided to send my details onto it. I was honestly wanting to send my own details on there eventually because I got bored of never seeing myself on there. So it's I wouldn't take them too seriously. They're a bunch of people living in their mum's basements talking online. How much training do you get in Ukraine? None. No, I've had a little bit with different units. It really depends on what unit you go to. Each unit manages it separately.
Please do tell them that you're also in foreign units usually.
Yes, I've been with foreign units, not with, I'm not like a Ukrainian going through basic training here. They're not really asking any questions.
What do you mean they're not asking questions?
No one's asking questions.
Maybe it's because you're not listening.
I hear the Bradleys are awesome, but not liking the cold. How's all the equipment performing the cold? I haven't seen any Bradleys. I've seen Humvees, and they were fine.
Have you considered that you might just be illiterate and you don't know how to read it, and that's why you feel like they're not asking any questions?
No, I'm literate. I can literate very, very adequately. Is there any food from Australia that you missed? Not really. The food is way better here, except if Yulia cooks.
I haven't. Okay, you know what? You be an arsehole.
Is artillery the biggest problem, both sides, or direct action? Artillery and drones are definitely the biggest problem by far. Does Ukraine have enough soldiers? Honestly, they probably need more, which is why they're looking at this conscription bill. If you could have any piece of kit for every soldier, what would it be? I don't know the answer to that question. Because decent body armor and EW kits to stop the drones. Why are New Zealanders cooler than Aussies? Honestly, it's not really it's kind of a trick question. There's no correct answer to it because it's false. Do you miss Vegemite? No. Do you have a contract with Ukraine? Yes, with the Ukrainian army. Does the Aussie government support Ukraine? To what level? They provide aid to Ukraine, but besides that, anyone that comes here and helps, they get a lot of hassle over the Australian government from. How many Russians live? Do you know how many Russians live in America?
Many.
Many, apparently.
A ton. Way too many.
Communication jamming is definitely used by the Russians. I've seen that. I'm not sure. I'm sure the Ukrainians do it as well, but I'm not entirely sure what the Ukrainians do. But the Russians definitely use some kind of communication jamming. Is that it?
What?
Or keep going, or?
Well, if there are questions, then sure. If they're not, then no.
Do I just press end, or do you want to do an outro, thumbs down outro or something?
Outro.
Okay.
Hey, dogs. Wait. Well, you just say thank you for the live.
Thank you for the live.
Also, do remind people that there is a link in my bio.
And I need to remind you all that there is a link in the bio
where I'm fundraising for drones for 3rd Separate Assault Brigade.
She's fundraising for drones for 3rd Assault Brigade.
And we are at, I can't look again because it's on the phone, but we are at over $4,000 and we're about $500 away from being at $5,000, which is 2 drones. So if you'd like to donate, the link is in bio, and on YouTube it's in the description, and it's beacons.ai/fundraiser. And you can do that there, and that'll be super helpful. Literally $1, $2, $5, $7, $10, liras, kronas, all the currency that is not in circulation anymore, all that works.
If you're over $4,000 and $500 away from being at 5,000, wouldn't that put you at 4,500?
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe I can't, alliterate, but you can't math.
I never said I could math. That's why I'm not in a math field. Anyways, thank you very much. I appreciate all of you. And I'm sorry you had to deal with this person.
Though the live did get a lot more better looking, you will have to admit. It's an improvement for sure.
Okay, goodbye, guys. I'll see you probably not tomorrow, but I might do a short TikTok live or something. And I'll see you when I see you the day after. Okay.
Thanks for coming. Keep supporting her lives. She does some good work.
Oh, you said that so enthusiastically.
She does some really good work. Keep supporting her and the project she is doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Bye. Jason, thanks for not getting naked snacks. Bye. Oh. Wait, and then that one.